Aces Wild, Risqué Business, Ep.8.
Now, what on the other side of this door could possibly be worse than Sean McGregor?
Well, looky here. We got a winner. Man, I knows everything he taught.
A buffooning Chance captured Chase's attention first, as the door swung open toward the lounge, leaning on the saloon piano, waving away. The second thing came from upstairs.
A drunk Chance and an angry Tat. Great.
Then came some familiar faces from around the room. 3 faces emerged very specifically, the same 3 that stared Chase down in Durnville weeks ago. And there at the bar was a pinstripe suit. It had to be McGregor.
Psst. He's looking for us,
Chance whispered loudly, pointing at the bar. Squeezing past Chase in the doorway, Belle intervened.
Hey, boys. You look as dry as the desert, so let's get a drink in them hands.
Corralling McGregor's men, she led them to the bar. Arms slung over one, she pinched another on the tip of his chin.
So, what brings you fine gentlemen in tonight?
McGregor spun his stool, eyeing Chase, who took a seat in the middle of the lounge. Belle was right about one thing. Security was thick, with 2 men at the front door, 2 on each side of the bar, 1 in each corner, and a whole table of lawmen. McGregor couldn't try anything here. Chance stumbled his way over to Chase.
Are celebrating, are you?
He slurred. Then, spinning towards McGregor, he pointed at him again.
You there. You fine, sir. Looking all spiffy like you. Buy my man a drink.
McGregor just stared.
I said you there. You yellow-bellied son of a donkey-loving...
Starting angry, the insult ended in a mutter, but anger ramped up again.
You leave my boy Jack alone.
McGregor took notice of that. Standing up was all it took for his men to snap to attention. A silent fury of composed strength, he commanded their notice. The room went tense. The guards reached for their sidearms, and the police slowly turned towards the bar. McGregor's men made their way toward Chase and Chance. It was a menacing sight as they moved through the room in their black dusters and red shirts, holstering matching gold-trimmed Colt revolvers. While looking toward the bartender, Belle snapped her fingers at the piano player.
Something lively,
she instructed, still eyeing the barkeep with a nod.
Drinks are on the house, gents.
Erupting in cheer, patrons rose to make way for the bar. McGregor read the room. After eyeing the lawmen and guards, he sat back down, knowing he was clearly outnumbered. Simultaneously, his men backed down as well. But they were certainly worked up from the ordeal. Belle caught the unease in the room.
Hey, you boys want to dance? Let's move these tables.
People helped make way for a dance floor, and the crowd began to cheer as the mood lightened. Drinks were poured, and Belle took turns dancing with anyone that fancied cutting a rug. It seemed everyone was having a good time now. Everyone but Chase and Chance. Chance excused himself from the table.
I think I need the facilities,
he said, turning green, beelining as best he could for the door labeled Gents. Sipping his glass of whiskey, Chase just sat and stewed, watching Belle act looser than normal, flirting and dancing away, highly entertaining the men. He couldn't even allow himself to celebrate his big win. He grew angrier and angrier at the situation. As the night moved on, he watched Chance make his way up the stairs, a couple of times needing all fours. Chuckling, that made him feel a little better. Chance deserved whatever Tatsuo threw at him in the next few moments to come. As the night wound down, several people headed home. Those left behind mostly entailed the guards, staff, a few barflies, and McGregor with his men. Wanting to keep the party going, mostly McGregor's men continued dancing with Belle. Chase turned green with envy as he watched her toying with the outlaws. Growing tired of dance, Belle headed to the bar, gathering a tray of drinks.
All right, we're gonna party till morn,
one of the men said, as another attempted to slip a hand up her dress. McGregor just smirked. Belle dropped the drinks and yanked away.
Keep your hands off me,
she hollered, smacking the man who just groped her. Livid, Chase shot up from his seat to yell some words he'd deeply regret.
Leave the whore alone.
Belle's eyes instantly shot daggers. Storming over, she punched Chase square in the nose, grabbed him by the ear, and dragged him to the nearest guard.
See the winner to his room.
Marching over to the bar, she poured a tall one, slammed it back, and headed for the stairs. The remaining guests enjoyed making light of the drama. Standing outside the room at the top of the stairs was the guard.
I got this.
Flinging the door open, the whole place heard the first word of that fight.
Whore?
She screamed as the door slammed.
You called me a whore?
Creaking back open slowly, Chance, Tatsuo, Jack, and Honey rolled out the door to seek haven in Belle's room. This was going to get ugly.
Well, you're acting like one.
Acting like a whore?
Dancing, flirting, hanging all over. This is how you make your money?
You're a jealous little man, aren't you?
She asked, looking to his nether regions.
Jealous? Jealous of what? A whore?
Chase now held his nose with one hand while rubbing his cheek with the other.
You're jealous McGregor's men saw something they liked and went for it.
Who said I seen something I wanted?
I've watched you wanting for 2 weeks now. You know, you're about as hard to read as Jack and Jill.
Chase paused for a second, uneasy and unsure where she was headed with the remark. He didn't like being compared to a kid's story on top of things. After all, he'd noticed her winks and glances too. So, who was the one more obvious?
Well, I seen you looking at me too, sweetheart.
Belle stopped short. Neither knew where to go next. She saw the hurt in his eyes and realized how things could seem. He didn't exactly know her role at the saloon either. Yet, she only acted on his behalf. A necessary distraction had to be set in motion before anyone, especially Chase, came to harm. She eased at the way he reacted, but still felt angry at the choice of words he spat. Even though the yelling wasn't getting them anywhere, she couldn't help but have some left over despite herself.
That's why I was trying to help, stupid. Why do you think I was keeping McGregor's men busy?
Sitting on the edge of the bed, Chase's posture shifted.
Uh-huh, sure. And how do I know that's what you were doing?
Because I like you, ass. I've been a faithful widow for 5 years. Now I've fallen for the likes of you. A guy who just called me a whore.
Oh?
Chase said, slouching forward, hanging his head a little defeated. Belle stood over Chase, and the two stayed quiet for some time. She realized one of them had to break the tension. There was no use in hiding or holding back any of it now. Passions ran high, only adding to the intenseness of their argument. He didn't budge. She noticed he was holding on to his wounded pride, maybe even a touch of remorse, too. Breaking the silence, Belle pushed Chase back on the bed.
Men.
She sighed as she climbed on top of him, kissing him deeply. Chase was surprised, really surprised. Deepening the kiss, he pulled up her dress to return a cheek smack across her now bare one. Rolling over to be on top, he thought,
maybe I do get to celebrate after all.
The noises from within the room told the guard his services were no longer needed. Still wearing her clothes from the night before, Belle poked her head out to get a feel for whatever the new day brought them. What she saw did not give her a good feeling at all. McGregor stood there, just inside the saloon, meeting with the owner, Mr. Tanning. He held what appeared to be a wanted poster, while pointing up at the room Chase and Chance rented. After shaking hands, McGregor nodded and ducked back out the door. Walking over to the bar, Mr. Tanning showed the paper to the bartender, who was opening for the day. Belle could see it clearly now.
Wanted. Chance Young? Card sharper?
Quickly and quietly, she made her way to her room, where everyone was getting dressed for the day.
You're a wanted card sharper, and you didn't think to tell me.
Well, I'm wanted in a couple 10-buck 2 towns for cheating some small-timers. What's the big deal? And how'd you find out about it anyways?
McGregor was just downstairs with your poster. And $100? You've cheated more than a couple times. You need to get out of here, now.
What about the tournament money?
There's not going to be any tournament money. You and Chase came together. He's going to be disqualified. Go get him and the others. Get your things and meet me out back.
Chance felt no desire in telling Chase about the lost money. Clutching his throbbing head, he broke the news. and it went over about as well as he expected.
What do you mean we're wanted? You're wanted, not me.
Look, Bill said there ain't no money now, and we gotta get going while we can.
Chase furiously started grabbing his gear, and Chance felt horrible. But there remained very little he could do. Whispers could be heard from down below, between the owner and guards, as they made their way to the banister. Heading down the servants' stairs to the rear entrance, they opened the door to find Belle. She had the horses and appeared dressed to ride. Slinging a long rifle over her maroon blouse, she hitched up her dark denim riding dress while making way for Nessie.
And where do you think you're going?
I'm going with you.
With me? What about the saloon? Everything you got going on here? Where we're going? It ain't no place for a lady.
Well, good thing you ain't ever accused me of being a lady. I'm going with you.
Belle stayed insistent.
McGregor and his men headed south, and the sheriff's station just north of here is gathering men.
She stated as she mounted the mare.
Well, south it is then.
Then, to his canine companion,
Come on, honey, let's move.
Jack and Tatsuo looked scared as Chance helped them onto the horse. Catching Chase's eye, he pondered.
South? Towards McGregor's men? Why not?
If I'm gonna kill a man, it's gonna be a bad one, not somebody just doing their job.
Kicking his heels, Chase was off, and the others followed.
Where we headed anyway?
Chance called from behind.
I'm heading home.
Trotting through the back streets of town, the group spied McGregor and his men at the south exit. Chance seemed as scared as Tatsuo and Jack now, like he was on a suicide mission, thinking the plan would entail riding head-on, guns blazing. But Chase had other ideas. With a snap of the fingers and Honey vanished in an instant. Riding straight for McGregor, Trot turned to gallop as Chase yelled out like a madman, firing blindly into the air. McGregor and his men didn't flinch. They sat there stoic at Chase's attempt to rattle them. But rattling the men wasn't the plan. His deranged behavior provided a distraction.
Skeet 'em!
Chase hollered as he got within range of the men. Flanking from behind came Honey. She bit one horse on the ankle, ducked under another, jumped through the air, grabbing the third by the reins, and crashing it into McGregor. Ensuing chaos developed as the men tried to regain balance and control of the horses. Like a bolt of lightning, Chase and the others shot through the would-be barricade. Honey caught back up on their heels as quickly as she vanished, and they rode like never before. Knowing McGregor and his men would follow in hot pursuit. Hearing the thugs in the distance as they hunted them, Chase called out,
Up here's where we hit the carriage. You gotta jump. We'll slow down as much as we can and lead them off. Make your way to Durnville, west of town, quarters day ride. Set up camp at the lake and wait.
Job?
Tatsuo asked, incredulous, clutching Jack in between herself and Chance.
It's the only way. They're gaining. We're too heavy. Jack, son, you've got to be brave. Take care of Mama.
Jack just swallowed hard and nodded.
Now!
Chase yelled, along with him.
Honey, stay.
Honey fell back to stay with the others as the boys rode on. McGregor and his men flew right past the now dismounted bunch, hiding in the bushes. Chase and Chance kept up a distance now. They rode hard for some time until they took a turn towards the town of Dry Creek. Quietly, they continued. Enough time passed without the thud of pursuing hooves, so they slowed their pace some. An obvious tension about the situation lingered. Neither of them felt too keen about leaving the others behind. Still, it was their only hope of outrunning their hunters. Stopping at a creekside, they let the horses find water once they knew McGregor and his men kept on the main path. Chance was the first to try and break the awkward silence.
So, you had some fun last night.
Chase just glared, saying nothing in response. Continuing to try easing the tensions, Chance's next comment was taken as anything but jest.
What'd she charge you?
Chase punched Chance hard across the jaw.
What was that for? It was a joke. Somebody had to say something.
Something? Here's something. This is all your fault. We're done. I'm turning back to Durnville, and don't you dare follow.
My wife and kid are headed to Durnville.
They're better off without you.
Chase yelled. getting on his horse and riding away. After some stewing, Chase started wondering if he reacted too harshly. But he shook off the thought and pushed on, deciding to head home come hell or high water. He needed to make a stand. If he couldn't stop McGregor from destroying Durnville, he could at least take back his house. First, though, he had to make a detour to see some old friends. The southern route from Copper to Durnville brought Chase along the Comanche Reserve. Having not seen his Comanche friends since they helped him so long ago in the desert, he wanted to pay them a visit. Approaching the reserve, he stopped to pack his rifle and sidearm into his bedroll. Then, on foot, he walked Nessie the rest of the way. Continuing on the path, he could see headdresses in the distance, peeking around trees and over rocks. As he got close, the smell of smoke and drying fish filled the air. Teepees laid spread across the plains. Native women went to and fro carrying baskets on their heads. Men taught boys how to use bows and arrows. Corn was ground on stone as herbs dried in the sun. It seemed such a peaceful way of life, but Chase knew there was also a darker side. The Comanche were fierce warriors, and this peace came at a cost. Even before Caucasian settlers, there were squabbles over hunting grounds, raiding parties, and any intermixing of tribes. Bear attacks. But times of late had more modern issues. Drink consumed many of the natives, one such as Red Sky. Battles amongst tribes turned into battles against the white man for any place to call home. Sometimes those battles came in the way of war, and other times in the way of politics. Unfortunately for the Comanche, they were better at one than the other. Hitching his horse to a tree, Chase turned to see his old friend Nocona. The tall, slender native man gave a nod and gestured for Chase to join him in his teepee. The last time Chase saw Nocona, he was part of a wandering group of Comanche. Traveling around, they studied the white man's ways in an attempt to coexist, something that was frowned upon by most in his tribe due to the brutal battles with settlers. Now, wearing a chief's headdress, it seemed that playing politics worked for at least Nocona. This gave Chance hope that peace could be had between the settlers and Indians, and maybe the battles were coming to an end. Upon entering the teepee, Nocona stoked the fire. Sitting on the ground, they shared stories while taking long draws off an ornate peace pipe. The visit went on for some time, while everyone outside the teepee was buzzing over what could be taking place. When Chase left, the two shook hands. Unhitching Nessie, he started on his way. No sooner than he mounted up, the other Comanche approached Nocona, curious about the visitor. The visit with Nocona was a great reprieve from everything Chase had been through as of late, and he was proud that he had become a chief. He wished he could have stayed longer, but he needed to seize back his home and meet the others at the lake. The rest of the ride to Durnville continued, slow, long, and uneventful. Missing Honey, Chase wondered how the others fared on their own. He even missed Chance, despite how angry he remained with him. Having had some fun times, regardless of how things went in the end.
Now come on, Chance. Did you really think that was the best time to push your luck? I mean, I would have hit you too.